Welcome to We Are the Hansons. I'm Jeremy. I'm the dad. I'm the husband. I guess you can consider me the king, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm Maya Hanson, the wife and the mom.
Yeah, well, today we wanted to talk about, people just being pricks, okay? So the name of today's show is, you know what causes that? Big Family Edition, because we get that question so much. And they're itching. They're just trying to get at you a little bit because, you know what? Raising a big family isn't for everybody. And a lot of people don't like you because you have a big family.
And yes, we do know what causes that.
Yeah, well, it's not a mystery. It's a marriage, a lot of love, lots and lots and lots, especially if you're me, patience.
Yeah. I don't think you got that many patients.
Well, I mean, we didn't stumble into a kid factory. We just chose to live a Costco-sized life. I mean, literally.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So when people come up, first thing you got to do is say, hey, just back off. Let us do our thing. And you know what? We've gotten pretty good at that. But before we go any further, I wanted to announce today that We Are the Hansons is doing a bunch of cool stuff like children's stories where there's adventures from different members of the family. And that's going to be kind of fun and cool. Put your kids down, when they're ready to go to sleep, play a little bit of an adventure from one of the kids or maybe mom and dad. Okay, that's going to be awesome. Also, I've been asking her to do this, folks, but I don't know if she doesn't want to give up our family recipes, but we have a lot of them. So I wanted to start doing some recipes. What do you think of that?
Yeah.
Like segments of recipes, like how to do the whole thing to perfection like I cook.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah. We're also going to be doing the Chaos Chronicles. I think you'll get a kick out of that. And funny because it's a lot of things that a lot of families have heard. We're going to start doing Q&A. So send your questions where?
To our
Email
at wearethehansonsshow@gmail.com, or you can also send them to our We Are the Hansons Facebook page.
There you go. Those are the questions. So we're going to do segments, when we get enough good questions, then we'll put them on there and we'll do a Q&A. And then, I might even jump in on this one, mom versus dad, things that, we did argue about and, how we resolved whatever issue it was and, how to potentially stop yourself from having to be in the same thing. I think that's a pretty good segment. Fridge notes and bathroom graffiti. That's going to be a good one because, we use them in a little bit different way. You're going to like that. An actual segment of life hacks that we use because we have a lot of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. We've had to just be part of the systems that we have in place. We're going to talk about things I think that are going to be important to you. Like if you have a large family, arguments and fights are bound to happen. So as parents, how, you have to let kids resolve some things themselves, but like a real life family feud segment.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Budget battles. Okay. That's more mom and dad again. But it's also like when you don't have enough money for everything, what do you do? What's in the van? And I kind of wanted to do this one just because my vehicle is always cleaner than her vehicle.
I don't know about that.
And I want to talk about the craziest things that I have found in her stuff. And then finally, when it comes to great-grandparents, grandparents, parents, kids, and then kids white in a big range, generation gaps and the things that go on. And all these are going to be segments. My favorite one, obviously, is the food. But then I kind of like the kids' stories, too, because it's kind of nice to have some good, clean, fun entertainment that's good for your kids for them to go to sleep to.
Yes.
Have you seen what's on TV lately?
Yeah. We don't watch a lot of TV.
I know, but have you seen some of the stuff the kids watch on YouTube?
Yeah.
I mean, that used to be R-rated. Now they're throwing it at kids. So, it is what it is kind of thing. But anyways, back to the show. I hope you guys are all excited about that. But back to the show. You know what causes that? And I don't know. What's your favorite response to that?
I'm more sarcastic. No. Yeah.
Yeah, like, no. Oh, yeah, go ahead. Tell us. Yeah, that kind of sarcasm. Yeah, that's actually a pretty
Tell us
good
something
one.
we don't know.
Yeah, like, oh no, how does it happen?
Yeah.
That type of thing. I'm a little bit more direct. I'm like, yeah, I know exactly how that happens. And by the way, we're working on a sequel.
Yeah. Smart.
Yeah, well, it's smart something. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And then if you really, really want to get somebody, especially if they're one of these, save the earth, you shouldn't have that many kids, we should put all the cows down for farting and let's tax all that. Yeah, those people say something like, it's funny, every time we pay taxes, another one just shows up.
Yeah.
I don't know. If you had one more good one, what would it be?
We finally figured that out around kid 7, but by then we had a rhythm.
Yeah, rhythm what? No, what do they actually think that they're saying when they say stuff like that to you?
I don't know.
Do you think it's to shock you? Do you think it's like genuine curiosity? Or do you think that they're actually trying to be funny, but, because I know that's happened a couple times. Like somebody has said that to us trying to be funny and then it wasn't funny and it gets really, really awkward.
Yeah.
But I would say with that question, most of the time the people are just being jackasses.
I wonder how many times, they question themselves after they question us about it. How many times they think we've been asked that?
Well, I don't think that they care. I really don't think most people think. Well, it's nosiness. And I think a lot of times people feel inferior. I mean, literally, like, it costs a lot to raise a family. It takes a lot of work to raise a family. It takes a lot of dedication and sacrifice to make sure that your kids are doing great. And I'm telling you right now that there are some people that are mad at us because our kids turn out good. I've seen it. I've seen, people complain about it. I've seen people talk, behind our backs about it. I mean, that type of thing happens. And I think it happens with every large family, especially if you're doing a good job.
Yeah, I think a lot of that happens, but a lot of ours, they don't see what we see. They see, yeah, our kids are doing great, but they don't take the time to talk to them to see, how they are. They just assume.
Yeah, they assume that, they were given this. We've never been given anything.
No.
But assumptions, it's a real thing. And people assume all the time. And, let them assume. Unless they actually want to come up to you and talk, then talk with them. And if, reciprocate the feeling and emotion that they're giving to you. And sometimes I may take that a little bit too far in a negative way, but that's just me. That's just who I am.
I'm the same way. I just tell it how it is.
Right. And I do get a little protective, like our kids. They've all bought their own cars. They all work hard. They all pay their own insurance. They pay their own phone bill. When you're 16 and you can work in this house, if you want a cell phone, guess what? You're going to work.
You're going to pay for it.
Yeah. If you want a car, you're going to work. And we've helped them get jobs. We've given them some work. We've done stuff like that.
And it's not that we're doing it to be mean. It's teaching our children responsibility.
Right. For the rest of their life, because life ain't easy.
Yes.
You know what I mean? I should correct that before my mother, because my mom's kind of like the grammar police. So ain't's not a word. You've heard my mom say that to me.
Yeah.
So, ain't isn't in my vocabulary unless I'm just talking regularly. I guess it's slang.
Isn't.
Isn't, ain't, So it's the same word. And I think as I've developed as a human being, and I've got, I'm an autodidact, so I've done a lot of this stuff and learned this stuff myself. I've kind of created my own language.
I think most of us have.
Well, it's a dictionary. It's like my own personal dictionary. I should write a dictionary.
I think since living here, our kids have gotten the Missouri slang.
You mean the Missouri?
Yeah.
The Missouri slang. I think it's from the heat.
No.
No, you don't think it's the heat?
No, it's the people.
Yeah, well, have you ever seen in Missouri heat, if you put an egg on the ground, what happens to the egg?
No.
You know, our kids spend a lot of time outside.
Yeah. Wow.
And so do you.
Yeah.
But anyways, no, folks, really, people are going to complain and whine and, try to point out all your downfalls. And the great thing is what you should do is become an open book. Yeah, I have no problem letting people know all the mistakes that I've made. I don't have anything to hide that way. And if you're honest and truthful, nobody can ever really make fun of you.
Yeah.
Because you've gotten through it.
I'm not embarrassed at all.
The truth is, I wanted a big family and I wanted to be a business owner. Guess what? I have a big family and I'm a business owner. What, are you a hater because I actually achieved my goals in life? You know what I'm saying? I love laughter in the house. I like things being around. I don't necessarily like busy all the time, but I sure do love my life. I love its chaos. I love the joy that comes with being a parent to this many kids. Sometimes things can get annoying, yes, but give me one person in life that doesn't have annoying things in their life.
Yeah. I mean, you live life to its fullest and you just keep going.
That's right, because my life is full of purpose. My life is full of laughter. My life is full of legacy. And a lot of people can't say that. And a lot of people get jealous about that.
And, if we didn't have the chaos and craziness, I don't know what we'd do. I mean, that keeps us on our toes. That keeps us motivated. It keeps us going.
It did. Back when I was 16, 17, 18, approval was a thing for me. Was it you?
Yeah.
And one thing that I've learned throughout life now is I've learned this lesson over and over and over and over again. Your approval is not needed. I am going to live my life my way and do as good a job as I can because it's my life and I don't need your approval to live it.
Yeah. Same for me. We just keep going.
Right. Have you ever ran into that person that, when they come up and they say something like that, they'll be like, the earth is overpopulated by 400 million, or, they somehow miraculously just become a statistician when they come up to you about it?
Yeah.
So what you do, folks, if you've got a big family and people come up and they start aggravating you like that, you say, the average family is 1.6 children. Did you know that? And they say yes. And you go, and you know what? We're fixing that. It's kind of like a middle finger with words.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. Some people say, well, overpopulation is real, except according to Elon Musk's and about 90% of the real scientists out there. But don't worry, we recycle and use LEDs. Just something to be a smart person back, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah. I mean, you have to.
Yeah, well, the thing is people are going to turn into OBGYNs like they've never studied a medical book in their life. And as soon as they see you got a lot of kids, they are going to tell you the way to do it. Especially, and what gets me, how many people that don't have kids at all? But I got a dog. You know what I mean? They try to tell you how to raise kids. They try to tell you how to fix your situation. They chastise you because usually what happens is like, oh, I see you're buying the great value green beans instead of the fresh or frozen green beans. And you're like, yeah, they're a third of the price. We just got to get through till next week. Well, did you know? How many times has something like that happened?
That has happened, but I've always been a fan of the generic brand of vegetables.
Well, I mean, it's not just that. It's just the overarching thing. Like, you buy Jack's Pizza. I'm like, yeah, you ever had 3 of your own girls with 10 of their own friends? You got 30 kids there and you got to have pizza for all of them? Jack's it is.
Yeah.
Right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, people like turning into doctors and economists. I mean, that's just what they do. So, whatever. I've had people say, isn't that hard on you? Isn't that hard on your body? Well, yeah, so is your advice. You know what I mean? Like, sometimes you just got to be a prick back like that. But one thing that I would say, if you had to say one thing was probably got used and abused the most with us, what would you say what it is?
Our washer and dryer.
Yeah, I'd say that too. And we've had some really good ones and we've had some really crappy ones. Laundry for you probably creates more stress than anything because our kids aren't any different than any other kids. One sock goes off here, one sock goes off over there, constantly collecting,
The little ones change their clothes about 5 times a day.
Right. And then some people will say, oh, it's a fortune. And I'll be like, well, we do save on entertainment. We've got karaoke live every night from the kids. We don't even have to turn on Netflix for teen drama because we got that at our house all the time.
Dancing in our living room and kitchen almost every weekend.
Exactly. Somebody's always yelling. Somebody's always crying. There's something somewhere that somebody's having like a literal, Prime or Netflix moment in our home.
Yeah, we do not do bored in our house.
No. It's kind of like, I don't want to use the word soap opera because it's not a soap opera. I would say more of a sitcom. What would you say?
Yeah, I would say.
And then people do come up to us like they try to act like they're genuinely concerned. When do you have time for your relationship, your wife? When do you got time? How do you foster a good relationship with your wife? And I'm like, do you see how many kids we have? Do you think that there's time lacking? I mean, what else do you think is happening? Yeah, have you had that happen? Yeah, I mean, come on. And I don't know, another big one you're going to run into is people are constantly trying to fix me, fix you. You ever wrap that thing? Have you ever heard about birth control? Yep, I have. But the difference between us and them is none of our kids were mistakes.
And that's a choice.
Yes, that is a choice. 110% that's a choice. And I don't need fixing. You see, that's the problem with these, ivory tower people looking down all the time. They're always trying to fix you, except they're usually the most miserable maggots on the planet.
We always hear, have you ever, the one thing we do hear a lot of, I could never do that. And it's like, no worries, Karen.
Yeah.
No one's asking you.
Well, the truth is, when people say, oh man, I could never do that, I'm like, you're right, you couldn't. Okay, because it really does take some special people, not just parents, but kids, to be in a great big family and make things work. It takes some special people, some strong people, some guided people, some people that have self-conscious and people like that. And most of the time, I'm like, you're right, you couldn't do it. And then they get even more angry. But I'll never apologize for that because they could have made the choice to do it. They chose not to do it, and whatever. I'm a very big fan of the bird, like 4 inches from somebody's face. But it is fun. It is great. And you can answer these people any way that you want to. I learned a long time ago that when people start asking you questions like that they're not genuine people. They're not there to help you. They're not there to, get anything out of it except for, to make them feel important. Like, man, I came up to that really big family and I really let them have it about, them having kids and say, oh, you did. Yeah, you did. Yeah, great job. Great. I could never do. Yeah, you're right. You couldn't do it. So why don't you just shut up?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like a John Wayne movie. Are you feeling lucky today, punk? You know what I'm saying? The thing is, if you got a big family, you got to understand there's big perspective from other people. People are amazed usually at kids in big families because, well, they're so adult or they're, they listen so good or you'll see that a lot. Well, I think it's because kids in large families, they got to learn patience before most. They got to learn compromise because they're dealing with people all the time. Then the occasional pizza fight, water balloon fight, she pulled my hair fight, that type of thing. All of those things teach kids in big families to be different and to grow up different. Resilience.
Yes, and everyone leaves our house with skills.
A lot
life skills.
of life skills. Yeah, like how to deal with people. Do you know how many people are afraid to go just talk to somebody? You know, that's one advantage of this is usually our kids can hold a conversation with almost anybody.
Yeah. Anybody.
Right. You know, being busy is part of our life. You know, enjoying quiet time, that's part of our life. Learning, loving, laughing, that's all part of our life.
That's our normal.
Right. And, you know, I think that it has benefited us. Now, are there times that I wish I was like, man, can I escape to the river for 2 hours just to go fishing? Yeah, but who hasn't felt that way?
Yeah. I mean, I think any normal person would feel that way.
Right. I mean, one of the biggest pet peeves I've had in my life, and some people are going to laugh at this, is when you can't find the damn clicker.
The remote.
Yes, the clicker.
Yeah.
I mean, in our house, it's like a freaking genie. It will disappear for 5 minutes and poof, comes right back, but it's never in my hands. Have you noticed that?
You're never in there to watch.
Well, it's been that way for 2 decades, you know, so it's just little things like that that I cherish. And, you know, I yell about now, but it's funny to me. And here's the thing. When people come up and they're that way to you and they're just being jerk-offs, the best thing that you can do is put a big smile on your face and nod and let them know that you're truly happy and their opinion really doesn't matter.
Yeah. So, pro tips for nosy questions.
All right, let's hear them.
Wear shirts. Yes. They're all mine. No.
Not done yet. Yeah. Okay, yeah. Well,
Count stairs for fun with a clicker.
yeah, you can get one of them. That would be fun.
And smile sweetly. Bless your heart for asking.
There you go. Kill them with kindness. I mean, I guess that's one way to do it, you know. Or you can do it my way. But both ways are good. You know what? Go enjoy your family. To hell with what anybody else thinks. Take care of your family, prosper with your family, and love your family.
Yes. And get on over to our YouTube channel, We Are the Hansons, and subscribe. You can also send us an email at wearethehansonsshow@gmail.com, or you can send us a Facebook message on our We Are the Hansons Facebook page.